out a little bit, but it tends to just take out of me. So I thought, why not do the housework Queen style while dancing, and not just a little bit of this. You've got to proper put some effort into it. And while you're hoovering, assumably, I mean, you can do it while at the sink and washing up if you wish. Any housework that you're doing, just dance while you're doing it. You know, if you wanted to start doing your housework at night so nobody sees you, that's fine. But either way, it gets you moving. So I'm going to try doing that, I think, while I'm having a quick hoover up. So nobody come looking from the window should be hugely embarrassed. So I was also thinking maybe we could motivate each other together and come up with some creative ways to inject more exercise into our lives instead of having a rigid structure to it. Maybe us people that can't seem to get into the habit of it or keep trying to do it and put it off, maybe we could do little things and come up with creative ways to do it. You know, I think a cool digital way for us to do this, but you know, get in touch if you're interested. I'll start a thread on the FemFX website, and we can, dare I say, take pictures as proof of achievement. You know, note updates, share little things that we tried, and make it a proper interactive experience. Do it together. And you know, also, last thing I'll say on this before we end it is, the bigger my fires, the bigger the gun or the knife I can hide up there for defence. That's the way I like to think of it with fires. So it could be like, yeah, that's not a knife, that's a knife. That I've hidden in my thighs because it's so big. So yeah, but if you're all interested, you know, I'll start a thread on the FemFX site. And if none of you actually want to take part, you can just come there and give me tips on what to do and laugh at me, and that's fine as well. So anyone else want to give us any tips or summarise as we move on to UK esports?
Just like you were saying, it doesn't have to be rigid. Push-ups, pull-ups, stuff, dancing, just moving around, take a jog or something is all. Whatever is fun to you can be some kind of exercise. So.
I took a combination of both. When I mean, if I could get the walk, to me, both not just physical, but mental. Because a lot of times my biggest problem is mentally getting caught up in the anger in the moment of going, oh my God, what just happened in the game? So I try not to just do the exercise, but also calming my mind, so that way I can kind of clean the slate and not be focused on that loss. So I think it's kind of like a balance between the both. That way you're not only exercising your mind, but you're training your brain also to, okay, let go of the moment. Because I think a lot of people hold on to that for a hot minute, maybe a game or two, and that's where the losses start going down the road, because you're so caught up on like, oh my God, I just spent 45 minutes playing against this Protoss and he beat my ass. What do I do? I think getting up, walking away, and just calming yourself, not only physically but mentally, helps also. And I think that's also something that people need to do. I try to do it, not successfully, but I try to calm my mind, not just my body doing what it needs to do.
It just all starts with that cheese. When someone's cheesed you and you just say, right, I'm going to do it, I'm going to do it back to somebody else. That is where you start down that treacherous path of losing, like so, and then that's it from there. Nick, did you want to say anything before we go? Just so I've gone round to everyone.
No. I think I've got a lot of speaking to do over the next 20 minutes or 10 minutes. Yeah. Yeah.
Yes. Yes, before we move on to Troll of the Week, we have some. Now, Blizzard has trademarked the word Barcraft, when I'm pretty sure they didn't invent it. Yes, Starcraft is theirs, but it just seems a bit, you know, sneaky. But in the UK, over here on the British Isles, Starcraft 2 for a second with Nick, and the other two jump in whenever you feel like it. Some people, I've seen a thread, and I know that Nick has seen it as well on Team Liquid, where this guy was basically saying, does the UK really have an esports scene generally, or a StarCraft 2 scene? And it was a bit angering, because I was like, yes, it's there. It may be what you consider small, but it is there. And like I said, there's EGL4 going on in London, and there's also a London Barcraft going on. And Nick has had his, not just his finger in the pie, he's had his hands in the pie with this one. So Nick is hopefully going to tell us a little more about it. I've purposely not read about it, purposely so you can tell me today what it's about.
Well, first off, with that thread, I did post an angry little tweet about it, but the actual thread creator was an American player asking, where are the UK players? You know, we don't have the talent of what Europe does. We have the Muslim, who most people have heard of because of Evil Geniuses. And below that, we do have up-and-coming players who are challenging Europe, but they haven't hit international events yet, because their organisations have been pumping money into them to attend the UK events to train. So the guy was asking a valid question. The problem was the people from the UK don't get involved and would rather be critical and pessimistic about something that is growing. So, you know, certainly it is there. You just need to use search on Team Liquid or Google, and you will find stuff. But anyway, basically, 3 months ago I was contacted by a company called European Console League. It is, I don't want to compare it, but for if anyone's from America, it is the MLG of the UK, a lot smaller budget. It doesn't have the investment, and it's, you know, it's only on to its 4th event. But it was heavily based in console and the SOA market and StarCraft 2, and I wanted to push them in the right direction and make sure it was correct, and, you know, it went well. So we recently rebranded European Gaming, after running our ECL3 event in Loughborough. We had 24 UK players, with about 7,000 people tuning in each day on a live stream by Total Biscuit Apollo. And because of the success, we rebranded and we announced EGL4 London, which is going to be on October the 29th to 30th. And what it is still heavily based console, but StarCraft 2 will play a major part with a dedicated stage and a full HD stream, free for everyone. If you want to come to the event, it's about £20 to come for the weekend, watch some action, and hopefully we'll get some good casters back. We're currently sitting on £2,000 prize pool, but I'm working on trying to increase that. But hopefully it'll be good.
Indeed. See what I mean about Nick? He just has, in terms of the UK, anything you want to know about StarCraft 2 or esports in the UK, this guy will pretty much know it. He knows everything. He's like my dad, this guy. He really is. And it's brilliant that we've managed that Nick has been behind this, pushing it out into the forefront, getting us out there. And I've discovered lots of Barcrafts popping up everywhere, not just here, but in the US as well, and they're coming up everywhere. And there's one at less than 20 miles from me called the Kyoto Lounge, KYOTO Lounge.
In Manchester.
Yeah, and it has a Facebook page, and it's sponsored by Game, which is the main retailer for us here in the UK for games. Yeah. And I thought, that's brilliant, I've got to go. You know, they sell hot dogs and everything, and they do milkshakes. So I can have a milkshake, hot dog, and sit there on a computer in a bar watching StarCraft 2 and playing League of Legends. It's brilliant. I got so excited.
Well, I've got to say I'm a little bit guilty on that one, because about 3-4 months ago, I actually took a trip to Manchester to go and speak to the event owners to sort things like Barcraft out there, because if you don't know, I'll give a link in the chat. It's actually the first of the kind in the UK. There may be elsewhere. I know there is in Sweden. But what it is it's an actual bar, a licensed bar. But what they've done is they've kitted it out with all consoles and PCs. And the environment is just absolutely great for practice if you want to go and have some fun with your friends. And I saw this and I thought it's a great opportunity. Spoke to the managers, told them about Barcraft and a few tournaments they do in the UK, and they were really enthusiastic. So if anyone gets a chance around Manchester or would just like to say thanks to the owners for getting involved, then certainly do, because it means a lot. And just off recommendations from a lot of people asking, they got more involved. So certainly in around your area, ask and it happens.
Yeah, absolutely. Nick is from up north, by the way, asking what accent is that. He is up in Northumberland, aren't you?
Yeah.
Yeah, so yeah, so you.
A false Geordie.
A false Geordie. Do Briscoe and Katrina, do you guys have any bar crafts near you?
No.
No.
No. I mean, I think because where I'm at in St. Pete, Tampa, I haven't seen or heard anything. Most everything I know happens in Orlando. It's a bigger area. You know, you've got Disney World. Of course, you're going to have the MLG Orlando, which I'm crossing my fingers hoping to go, so that'll be exciting for me. But I think most anything that it's gaming-wise, at least from what I've seen, seems to be geared more towards the center of the state, towards that area. I've never seen anything. I think there's been attempts, but they've failed catastrophe. Excuse me. It's been bad. I'm sorry. Catastrophe. Bad word. I know. Terrible English. But I don't know about David, but I know here, Florida's a weird state. So some things go really well, and some other things just David?
Well, I'm only 20, so I don't turn 21 until like 6 more months. So unfortunately, the barcraft, I don't go out looking for them. So I mean, I'm aware of what they are, and I hear, like on my Twitter, everybody's always tweeting that they're doing barcraft. But as far as locally, I would be unaware if we have any.
See, if you were in this country, you'd be old enough to drink. You should come visit.
Not sure.
We'll get a first alcoholic beverage down in. But yes, I think it's brilliant. Actually, I was going to do this at the end. May as well do it now. I've got all your attention. Before I am going to do Troll of the Week, bear with me. I was thinking of maybe doing special SlagPits about countries. Now, bear with me. Like a special USA edition where we focus on the esports and StarCraft 2 of the USA, the UK, and Australia, and each one has its own show. And I get people on the show who are from those countries who can fill us in on what we've been missing. And even Belgium or Venezuela or wherever you're from, if you want to show about your country and what it's doing, any streams it's got going, or why we should fly over and visit, then we do that. So I was mainly hoping to get some Aussies on, which is why I'd have to shift the time for that, because it's currently like 9 o'clock in the morning over there. But if you want it to happen, get in touch with me. You all know how. But what do you guys think that's a good idea or not?
I think it's a great idea.
Yeah.
It's always good to expand your cultural horizon to other people. It brings us together.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, it would be neat to see, mostly with the World Cyber Games coming up, knowing how many different teams are getting ready to enter that here in 2011 in December. Just seeing how many different countries were actually not just in a sense of StarCraft, but Call of Duty, so on and so forth. I mean, it'll be interesting to see, what is Chile sending, what is Spain sending, what is we here in the States, what are we sending, and what is it for? Who are they playing for? I mean, I know right now that Korea right now is doing the super trials. It just had the last ones not long ago to start going and getting their picks for StarCraft 2. God, and when you go to the site itself, the list of countries that are going to be there is phenomenal. So it's really intense. It should be really cool to be able to get that.
I mean, I know for the USA, I'm probably a little bit misinformed when it comes to your upcoming scene. I know the upcoming UK scene because I'm here and I watch it to support the UK. But in the USA, I know your up here players, but down here, this is why they suddenly tend to pop up. And I'm just like, ooh, where did they come from? But then they've been down here all the time. So I'd hope the show would focus on that. But Nick, would you come on for a special UK SlagPits?
Yeah, I mean, I would be interested in hearing them all, because